The Big Ten, you guys ought to be embarrassed and ashamed of yourself. What are y'all doing up there in the Midwest? That's not real football up there. You guys are a joke. A joke. Michigan State gets mollywopped 38-0 last year in a playoff game. Ohio State comes out and craps the bed 31-0. Fake heart condition on deck for your boy Urban Meyer. Oh, this is the big one. He's the Fred Sanford of college football. Listen, let's talk about the Big 12. Big 12. Insert any expression here. The falling apart at the seams, terrible, crumbling. The Big 12 is a friggin' joke. Two interesting teams today, but up first, Ohio State University. All right, so the Buckeyes.
Which Ohio State, though? Which one?
Yeah, the Ohio State
University.
The
one that didn't score a single point in the playoff, though?
So stupid. Ohio State, of course, head coach Urban Meyer pretty much has been dominating the Big Ten since he got there. What does he have, 6 losses in 5 years, something like that up there. But anyway, I've got the schedule written down like I normally do. We'll go through it, non-conference, then conference, home and away, all that kind of stuff. They do have a new offensive coordinator this year. No big surprise there after the goose egg they laid in the playoffs. What are you doing? 2 years in a row, the Big Ten has failed to score a single point in the college football playoff. But yeah, just humiliating. You can't score one single point. I still stand by what I said at the end of last season. I think the Big Ten should have a mandatory 5-year playoff ban. I don't think they should be allowed to place a team into the college football playoff for the next 5 years. You go 2 years in a row, you can't score a single friggin' point. That's just sad, embarrassing, and humiliating. But anyway, back to Ohio State. JT Barrett comes back for his 18th season. This guy's been there since forever and a day. This guy was there when Y2K was a thing. He's been at Ohio State forever. He's back. New offensive coordinator. Offense, look, the offense should be pretty good. I know they didn't score a point, but anyway, the offense should be pretty good. Front seven is loaded on defense. They do have some question marks in the secondary. But anyway, let's get to the schedule here. Week 1, they actually play on the road. I think this is a Thursday night game next week, too, if I'm not mistaken. They play at Indiana. So, Ohio State should win this game. A little interesting that it's at Indiana, I guess. Ohio State starting off with a road game there in conference against Indiana. Indiana, not a very good team. New head coach. They did make a bowl game last year. Fired their coach anyway. Now, Indiana does have a good defense. I'll give them that. Their defense is pretty good, but offensively, just nowhere near where they need to be. So if Ohio State can somehow figure out a way to score, 2 or 3 points, they should win this game. So I'm going to give you a W there at Indiana. Now, week 2, the big non-conference game for Ohio State this year. Of course, Oklahoma at home. Now, you mollywopped them last year in Norman. I don't expect anything different this year. You should beat the brakes off of Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield, pretty good quarterback. They have a new coach too. Bob Stoops quit for no reason. So he's gone. They got Lincoln Riley now, head coach. Their running backs are gone. They get most of their offensive line back. And they have a pretty good secondary. Sort of inexperienced in the front seven. But Ohio State should win this game fairly easily, in my opinion. But anyway, this is one of those games I could put in the toss-up category. I'm just not a believer. As hard as I've been on the Big Ten, I'm just not a believer in the Big 12 at all. I think Ohio State wins this game, so I have you at 2-0 there. Then you get 2 middle school teams, Army and UNLV. You'll win both of those at home. Put you at 4-0 heading into the game at Rutgers. Rutgers, the worst Power 5 team in America last year, with the exception of maybe Kansas. I think Kansas won more games, but I don't think they're better than Rutgers. Rutgers, I think, was 2-10 last year. Terrible. So, yeah, you get the win there. Home against Maryland, another win. Then you go on the road at Nebraska. Now, Ohio State, better team than Nebraska, without question. Nebraska not a pushover, though. I'm going to put this one in the toss-up category. Now, I expect Ohio State to win this game, but it is on the road. It is at Nebraska. I could probably give you a win there, but just pissed you off on put it in the toss-up category. It takes you into your bye week before you play at home against Penn State, another toss-up game. Penn State, a legit team. You do get them at home this year, which is a benefit for you. I expect this to be a really good game. Probably determine, or go a long way anyway, to determining who wins the division here. So I got to put that as a toss-up. Penn State should have been in the playoff last year, not you. That's just reality. I know you want to cry about that, but point is, you didn't win your conference, didn't even play in your conference championship game. Penn State did, and they won it. And then, people were like, "Oh, I can't believe they put Ohio State in the playoff over Penn State, and they didn't even play in their title game. Blah blah. They shouldn't be in there." Ohio State fan, "Oh no, we deserve it. We beat Oklahoma. We're definitely one of the top 4 teams." Blah blah blah. Then you come out and can't score a single damn point. So just proved everybody right. What they were telling you wasn't no good. But anyway, so that's a toss up at Iowa. I'm putting another toss up game here. I'm a big Iowa fan. Not Iowa fan. I like their coach, Kirk Ferentz. I like him. I think he's a good coach. He does a lot with a little. Let's be real. Iowa is not hauling in the recruits that an Ohio State, a Michigan, or a Penn State is. And I think Kirk Ferentz probably gets the absolute most out of what he has. But Michigan State at home, I think you'll win that game. They were terrible last year where they win 3 games. They won't be that bad again, but I can't see you losing to them. Illinois, you'll beat them at home without a problem. Then at Michigan, a game I think you'll win. They're replacing 18 starters off their team last year. Now, Harbaugh's had some monster recruiting classes, no doubt. So I don't expect Michigan to nosedive, but I don't think Michigan will be as good this year, quite as good this year as they were last year. I'm going to put that as a toss-up, but I expect Ohio State to win that game. So, pretty favorable schedule for you there. If you want to get mad about anything I said, go ahead. But, you'll win the majority of these games. I'll be surprised if you don't represent your division in the Big Ten championship game this year, most likely playing Wisconsin, would be my guess. But anyway, that's it. The Ohio State preview. Beep, beep, beep. All right, and now on to the Oklahoma Sooners preview. Mentioned it during the Ohio State video, but new head coach Lincoln Riley, Baker Mayfield returns. You lose, some key players at running back. Most of your O-line returns. Your defensive secondary is pretty good. Your 2 cornerbacks are really, really good. Some questions on the front 7, I guess. Anyway, let's just get right into the schedule here. Now, week 1, you're at home against UTEP. No reason you won't win that game. You're 1-0. Week 2, at Ohio State, I have that as a loss. I don't think you're winning that game. You really got it pushed in last year against Ohio State and Norman. I don't see you going on the road and beating them week 2. I just don't see it. Then you come back home, play Tulane. Easy win for you there. So what to put you at 2-1. On the road at Baylor. Baylor's in the toilet. You win that game. It takes you to your bye week. So you head into your bye, 3-1. All right, then you at home, Iowa State. You'll win that game. Ohio State, like most of the Big 12, is an absolute embarrassment to football. So you'll win that game without a problem. All right, now, this is the part. This gets interesting for you here. Texas. Now, you're more talented than Texas, okay? You top to bottom, Oklahoma is more talented than Texas. Texas has a better head coach. I don't know about this Lincoln Riley. We don't know how it's going to work out, but I am a Tom Herman believer, period. Listen, Tom Herman's going to have Texas competing for national titles in the next 2 or 3, 4 years. It's just going to happen. He's that good of a coach. There's too much high school talent in Texas to where a coach of a caliber of Tom Herman not to succeed. He's gonna build a winner there. I'm putting this game as a toss-up. I think you lose this game, though. I just have a feeling you lose this game, but I'm going to give it to you as a toss-up here. Then you go on the road at Kansas State. Now, this is a tough stretch of games you have here. A real tough stretch of games. The Texas neutral site, the Red River shootout, or whatever they're pretending to call it now. At Kansas State, another toss-up. Again, a game where you're going to be going against a better coach in Snyder. Home against Texas Tech, I do think you'll win that game. But then on the road at Oklahoma State, and I'm putting that as a toss-up, but it's another one that I don't think you're gonna win. I'm a believer in Oklahoma State this year. I think the Big 12 is going to come down to Oklahoma State and Texas. Maybe TCU has something to say about it, but I think I don't think they have what it takes to keep up with the top 3 teams. I think TCU probably finished 4th. But anyway, I think you'll beat TCU at Kansas. What has Kansas won, like 5 games in the last 5 years or so? I mean, Kansas is terrible. They're just god-awful. And then at home against West Virginia, you'll win that game like 80-60 or something like that. Just no defense at all in the Big 12. The Big 12 is just a disaster of a conference. It's on its last leg. I don't know if y'all have got some kind of TV deal or something, but as soon as that's up, Big 12's going bye-bye. It's gone, going away with the dodo bird. The Big 12 is a dying breed, extinct. Euthanasia is really the best thing for the Big 12 at this point. Texas, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State will be fine. They'll land somewhere, or in the case of Texas, most likely go independent would be my guess with Texas. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State will land in another major conference. The rest of those teams, good luck. I don't know what else to tell you. So anyway, what's that? So what does that give you if you're Oklahoma? Well, you're definitely losing to Ohio State. You're definitely losing to Oklahoma State. That's 2 losses. I think you're losing to Texas. I mean, I think you're probably looking at 3 or 4 losses here. I would say 8-4 to 9-3. If you can somehow go 10-2, first-year head coach Lincoln Riley, I would consider that a success. Now, I know Oklahoma fan expectations are always high. I get that. I don't think you're meeting those expectations this year. You're not making the college football playoff. I don't even think you're winning the Big 12. Anyway, that's it for the previews today, though. But as usual, don't forget, click right here, subscribe to Uncle Lou. If you haven't already, which if you haven't, what's wrong with you? And if you want to watch the rest of the prediction videos, click right here and check those out. Hey, yeah, great idea.